Hi, everyone. Another day, another episode. This is Shelley, and this is episode 20 of SNOWED, the Michael Snow is a fraud story. So I'm going to bring you up to about October of 2021. My nephew was getting married, and I'd been looking forward to that. We were going to this wedding, and at the last minute, he decided that he really needed to get a job. He needed to go and find some work. He had to go for some job interviews, and the trucking companies he was looking at, they were all out of town. They certainly weren't around here, so he had to travel. And in fact, I know now that he'd actually gone on a trip with two women, Jennifer and Cindy. And yeah, traveled, had a great old time. Apparently he was like, I don't know, sleeping with them both. I'm not sure, but definitely involved with Jennifer. Now, this Jennifer, he owes her money too. And how do I know that? Let me show you. Now, if you have a look, this was taken off of Are We Dating the Same Guy Facebook page. And there's Mr. Snow and there's Jennifer saying, I got fucked over by him for $10K. Stay the fuck far away. Not making this shit up. Now, whether he paid her back or not, I guess only Jennifer can answer that. But my guess is he did not. I don't actually know of anybody that got money back from Mr. Snow except his mother. So at this point, money was really tight. November 2021. I think that, to me, this strikes me as the most incredibly funniest thing throughout this whole story. I don't know why. I don't know why this makes me laugh. But at this point, Mr. Snow, he'd put up land for sale. He'd put up his boat. That fell through. Things just weren't moving for him, he can't force people to buy his things, is what he used to say to me. However, he was going to now put up his helicopter for sale. Let me show you. So if you have a look here, this is a text that Mr. Snow sent to me on November 25th, 2021. And he says to me, selling my helicopter. And he shows me the ad he's posted. So you can see he's actually put up an ad on, Kijiji? I don't know. And then he sends me a picture of a beautiful big house and asks me if I like it. I guess the reason I find it so absolutely hilarious, and I found it hilarious at the time, was I knew there was no helicopter. I absolutely knew at this point that most of what was coming out of his mouth was bullshit. It just really was. I just wanted out of this financial situation, and I was clinging to the hope that if I just hung on, another week, another day, that he would come through. But it wasn't happening. So as well, I was speaking with a friend yesterday, and something that was mentioned was that not every moment is bad. And that is the truth. And I think while I'm making this sound absolutely terrible and I'm giving you basically every bad thing, and I'm not even touching on all of them, let me tell you, but it was the good times that keep you sane, right? And the good times were really good. And it's like a dog, you're wonderful to the dog. You're so sweet and you're kind and you're gentle. And one day you abuse the shit and beat it. But that dog still wants to come back and love you. And that's exactly how it was for me. I knew that he was capable of being that man that took me on that month-long holiday, the man that opened car doors and was absolutely so sweet and attentive to me. And that's how abuse works. It's really insidious. It happens when you don't really think it's happening. I also had another friend this morning mention to me all the security cameras that he had around the house was maybe not so much for security as it was to watch what I was up to while he was away. As well, she mentioned that I had an air tag on my keys, did I not, that he placed there? And I said, well, yes, it was in case I lost my keys. She said, did you ever think that it maybe was so that he knew exactly where you were at any given moment? This was also about the time frame that I didn't think things could get any worse. I had creditors calling. It was to the point where if I didn't recognize a phone number, I just didn't answer it. I just couldn't. My mental health was in the toilet. I was really a mess. I truly was a mess. I see it now how bad I was, but I do think I was a fairly good actress. But now the bank had closed my bank accounts. They'd closed my bank accounts. They had cut everything off. They'd cut everything off. And they were calling in the HELOC, which is a home equity line of credit. So that HELOC is secured against my home. Yeah, that was the first time I got a letter saying, you better start paying this or we're going to take your home and sell it. Oh, so if that's not the scariest thing, I don't know what is. I was, this was, and these were legal papers. I was terrified. But again, Mr. Snow, being Mr. Snow, assured me that he would take care of it. Don't worry. He took the legal papers. He said he would deal with it. He's going to call the lawyer and he will deal with it. He said, I was kind of expecting that this was coming. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm not going to let you lose your house. I promise you that. But he was also seeing no way out of this. I think he had asked every single woman that he knew in his life. And he probably owed a lot more women than I even know about. So it was 2021, December of 2021. He said to me, you need to ask your dad for money. I said, absolutely not. I will live in a cardboard box before I ask my dad for money. And he really pushed for that. And that was the one thing I pushed back just as hard. That was just something I would not do. I've never asked anybody in my life for money. And I was most certainly not asking my dad. I knew at that point that people weren't getting paid back. And I was not doing that to my parents. No, that just was not going to happen. But again, I'm getting legal letters from the bank. They're talking about selling my house. I'm terrified. I really didn't think things could get any worse, but they just did. They just kept getting worse and worse and worse. So at this point, Mr. Snow realized I was not going to ask my dad. So he really wanted me to ask my sister. And I fought that for a long time. I did not want to ask my sister. I've never asked for money in my life from anybody. In the end, I cried. I cried for days and days and days before I thought, I don't know what else to do. I don't know. He's not coming through. I'm going to lose my house. I sent my sister an email. And it was probably one of the most embarrassing things I've ever done in my entire life. I had to ask her for money. She refused. And that's the best thing she could have done, really. It really, really and truly is. Because Mr. Snow would just have taken that money, and while we may have put some money on that issue, it wasn't going to solve the problem. The problem being he just likes to spend money, and he's not bringing it in as fast as he's spending it.